Hey, 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 good people. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Him Too Live on Tuesday morning. My name is Angela McGill, and I'm going to be covering Psalm 69 this morning. And so I'm excited this morning, excited to be able to partake in the word with you guys, excited to be able to hear what God is saying this morning. I enjoyed studying Psalm 69. I enjoyed just the revelation that God shared with me from my own life. And so my prayer this morning is that as we get into Psalm 69, that something is said that is an encouragement to you this morning. Something is said that is a strength to you this morning. Something is said that is a push for you to keep going this morning. Something is said to you this morning that draws you closer to the Father. And so we're not going to prolong the hour. We're going to jump in. Again, we're in Psalms 69 this morning. We're going to be talking from the topic, who do you run to? Who do you run to? So again, we're talking from Psalms 69. We're talking from the topic, who do you run to? And so if you are an 80s baby like myself, or even maybe 90s baby, Escape had a song called Who Can I Run To? Who Can I Run To? Escape back in the day had a song called Who Can I Run To? And they said in the lyrics of the song Escape, who can I run to when I need love? Who can I run to fill this empty space? And so if you're an 80s baby, I was born in 82. If you're a 90s baby, then you know that song from Escape. They were talking about who can I run to? And so as I was studying this, that's the first thing that popped in my head. Don't ask me why. That was the first thing that popped in my head, is that when we're in a crisis, when we're going through things, who do we run to? And so I'm gonna preach teach this morning from the biblical prophets of Escape. This morning, who do you run to when you're in a crisis? Who do you run to when you need love? Who do you run to fill that empty space? And you're going to see what I'm talking about in Psalms 69 this morning. And so let's get with it. Again, topic is who do you run to? Psalm 69, verses 1 through 4. It says, "Save me, O God." And this is a Psalm of David. "Save me, O God, for the waters have threatened my life. I've sunk in deep mire, and there is no foothold. I've come into deep waters, and a flood has overflown me. I am weary with my crying. My throat is parched. My eyes fail while I wait for God. Those who hate me without a cause are more than the hairs on my head. Those who would destroy me are powerful, being wrongfully my enemies. What I did not steal, I then have to restore." And so this is a Psalm of David. David starts off by saying that he is in something very serious. So when we start reading Psalm 69, verses 1 through 4, David is in something very serious. Theologians actually say that he was in a crisis situation. They do not give the details of what David was in. There are a lot of speculations. But David, we know that David is in trouble in Psalm 69. He starts off by saying, "Save me, O God." Automatically, I'm in something that I can't handle. I'm in something that I can't get myself out of. I'm in something that nobody I could just go and be like, "Hey, bro, get me out. Hey, sis. Hey, good morning, Sister Horn." David is in something where he like, look, I can't get myself out of this. David is in something where he can't call up somebody. He can't text them. He can't be like, say a quick prayer, get me up out of this. David is in something that financially people can't get him out. David is in something where he just can't send a quick 911 text and somebody just bail him out. He's in something that ultimately only God can get him out. How do I know that? Because Psalm 69 starts off with, "Save me, oh God." That means nobody else can save me. And so I'm going to the one who has the power, the authority to be able to get me out of whatever I'm in. David gives us an idea of what he's in. He says, "I'm in deep mire. I don't have a foothold." He's like, I'm in something so deep in the clay that I don't even have a foothold. I don't even have a grasp on it. Then he tells us, "I'm in deep waters. The flood has overflown me." David is saying, whatever I'm in, hey, good morning, Shantae. Good seeing you guys on this morning. David is saying, whatever I'm in, It's so deep. It's such a crisis that nobody can get me up out of this but God. And so again, as I said, as I started this off, the prophets Escape. If you were born in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s, you know the group Escape. They came out with a song, Who Can I Run To? I used to love that song, to fill this empty space. Who can I run to when I need love? And of course, we know David is not in need of love, but he's crying out that he's in something that only God can save him. And so we see from the life of David that when he is in something that is a crisis situation, he's not running to everyone else to fill the empty space. David is running to God. If David is in need of love in this situation, he is crying out to the one that can give him a love that he can be fully satisfied. And so again, if you know that Escape song, Who Can I Run To? Then I'll give you the answer this morning, and it is God. David starts off Psalm 69 crying out to God. Who can I run to? I can run to God. How that seems so simple, Angela. It is a simple principle, but often we don't run to him when we're in situations, when we're in things. Often we run to that which is familiar. Often we run to that person that's to our right or left, those in our inner circle, and we run because we want to be comforted. David says, I'm in something so deep, I'm in something so bad that I can't run to sugar down the street. I can't run and get something temporal. I can't run and you just hug me. I'm in something so deep to where the water is covering my head. I'm in something so deep. I don't know if I've been there. Maybe you ain't been there. I've been there where I've been in something so bad that it's like, I wish my best friend could bail me out. But what I'm in, I need God. And it is at that moment that, like David did in Psalm 69, that I begin to cry out to the Father, because what I was in, nobody could bail me out. Maybe you're in a financial situation that is above the pay grade of your friends. Maybe you're in something that it's like, God, what I'm dealing with in my body, it's above what my friends can just do. They can't just snap their fingers and heal my body. They can't just snap their fingers and cause this body to get in alignment. David is in something so bad that he's like, look, I would run to my brother to fill this empty space, but the only one that can do it is God. See, Escape sung that song back. I believe that song came out in the 90s. Who can I run to? And the lyrics of that song talk about, when I need love, who can I run to? When I need somebody to fill this empty space, who can I run to? And see, they were talking about a physical man. What I'm telling you in Psalm 69 verses 1-4 is David is saying, I'm in something so bad that a man and woman, they can't do it. The temporary feeling, it's not going to do it. The temporary sex, the temporary hugs, it's not going to do it. And even if they could muster up something, it's not going to be good enough to get me out of what I'm in. If you know what that's like, that's what David is talking about. He's saying, what I'm in right now, nobody can get me out. The only person, see, you can get in depression so bad. See, I'm going to talk about me. You can be in depression so bad that somebody's little now lay me down to sleep prayer ain't gonna get you up out of it. You need God to step in and get you up out of what you may have got yourself into. You can be in something so bad, and not everybody is in something that they got themselves into. Sometimes they just walking through life, and it can get so bad. See, maybe you don't know. I know what that's like. It can get so bad that you ain't got no deep prayer. You just start your prayer off like David in Psalm 69, save me, oh God. You ain't got the Huna Makadas. You ain't got all that. What you got is save me, oh God. I'm in something right now that if you don't move, if you don't bust a move, then it ain't gonna change. If you don't put your hand in it, then this situation ain't gonna change. If you don't show up and be Jehovah Jireh, then I'm gonna be in this mess for a while. If you don't show up as Rapha, my healer, then I'm gonna be sick for a while. You can get in something so bad that the only prayer you got is what David got, save me, oh God, because what I'm in, nobody else can get me out. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to have a bunch of friends, but they can't get you out of what you in. You need God to step in. You need God to flex his muscle. You need him to just blow just a little bit so the situation can come in order. When you get in something so bad, David tells you, who can you run to? The only one you can run to is God. That's why he starts off Psalm 69 verse 1 saying, save me, O God. That is the preliminary to the rest of Psalm 69. If I never read another verse, who can I run to? God. David starts off Psalm 69 verse 1 telling us the rest of the psalm. He's in a lot of stuff. He talks about, like, I'm in some water so deep that the waters are covering my head. But David says, before I ever tell you what I'm in, I'm going to tell you who I run to. And he starts it off with, save me, oh God. You can be in some stuff that you can't even explain to people. I've been in stuff so bad that it's like the pain I feel in my body, I can't even tell you. I can't even describe it. When the doctors are like 1 to 10, I'm like, it's 25. It's not a 10. It's a 25. When you're in that type of situation, sometimes pain meds ain't calming the pain in your body. The only one that can do it is God. The only one that I can run to is him. When the medicine don't work, when the friends comforting don't work, and the pain is like 25, the only person that I can run to, and I have this testimony, is God, because he's the only one that can calm it all down. He's the only one when this brain is all over the place. He's the only one that can bring me peace. Maybe you don't know what that's like. I know what it's like for my peace to be robbed. And the only one that can bring me peace is him. It's not drinking the drink. It's not smoking the smoke. It's not kicking it. It's not just going out taking a vacation, because you can get on the vacation and your mind's still going. The only one that can bring the peace is God. And so David starts off Psalm 69, to me, summarizing the whole psalm, is save me, oh God. I put this as a note. Sometimes it's not that people are not trying to comfort you. They just lack the ability, authority, and power to fix your situation. It's not that they don't want to be there. It's just that they lack the ability, authority, and power to fix the situation. And when we realize that, we can release people. Sometimes we put so much pressure on our wife, our husband, our best friends, our bosses, our doctors. We put so much pressure on them because we want them to fix it. Come on, fix it. You got the power. And a lot of times they lack the ability, the authority, and the power to be able to really fix it. See, sometimes it's not that they don't want to comfort us. It's not that they don't want to be there. They want to be there. They just don't know what to do. And if you're in that situation, that I want to encourage you this morning is to release those people into the hands of God. If they could fix it, they love you enough that they would fix it. But they don't have the authority and the power to fix your situation. They can be there and smile and say a prayer of comfort, say a prayer for God to strengthen you, say a prayer for God to be with you, never leave you nor forsake you. But they don't have the authority and power to fix your situation. The only one that can fix it when you're in a crisis is God. That's why I started off saying from Escape, the song, who will you run to? Who can you run to? The only person or entity that can change it is God. I'm not talking about something where you just had a little flat tire and your best friend can just pay and just buy you a new tire. I'm not talking about those type of situations. If you're in that type of situation, yeah, many people can get you out. I'm talking about you in a situation where it's a crisis and you know, Angela, if I don't get up, if God don't move, I'm not getting up out of this. If he don't step in, I'm going to be in this for a minute. If he don't flex his muscle as God, then I'm going to be in this situation maybe until the day I die. When you're in that type of situation, people can't fix it. And you got to release them because they're just doing the best they can. The only person that can fix that type of situation is God. And I'm spending a lot of time on verses 1 through 4 because I feel like it really summarizes the rest of this psalm. What David is in, he's in a situation that only God can save him. He needs the authority and the power of God. People can't fix it. And sometimes you get in situations where it's like you're crying out to people is good and it helps you for venting, but they can't fix it. The only one that can fix it is God. And so we bless God for our connections. We bless God for the best friends and the wives and the husbands and the bosses and the pastors and the people that are there for us that are trying to provide comfort and strength. and are praying for us. But if God don't get in the midst, then that situation, that thing that you're dealing with ain't gonna change. And I'm telling you, you got to find yourself running more to him than running away from him. Sometimes when it's tough, we feel the easiest thing to do is to run from him. No, you physically can't run from him, but it's like you don't want to keep going to him because you're like, I've prayed this prayer 500 million thousand times. God already know what I'm in. He already know what I'm dealing with. Why isn't he flexing his arm? Why isn't he doing it? And I'm telling you, you got to continue to go to him. And you got to continue to stand on this word, and you got to continue to fight by faith. That's the whole thing that we have as believers. We believe. It's what separates us from everybody else. We believe in our God. We believe in his strength. We believe in his power. And if you are going to believe, then sometimes you got to fight that unbelief, that doubt, that worry, that anxiety, all of that that's trying to bombard you. You got to fight that good fight of faith. And I'm not saying that every single day you're going to dot that I and cross that T, but you got to fight in faith. He's the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore. He don't change. So we got to continue to run to him. And if you are in a crisis, one of the things I'm starting to love as a trend in these Psalms is that you find David consistently running to the Father. You find him venting, and then you find him running to the Father. You find him sharing what's going on, and then you find him running to the Father. That is a testament to us. May we continue to run to the Father. He never gets tired of hearing his people talk to him. The Bible says he hears the prayers of the righteous. So he never gets tired of hearing our prayers. He never gets tired of our humanness. And I think that is such an erroneous teaching that is out there where people are like, God don't want to hear your prayer. He don't want to hear you talking to him. No, he does. He made us human. If he didn't want us to be human, he should have just took the human part of us and just left us as spirits. He knows that there is a weakness in us as humans. That's why later in the New Testament, I believe, and somebody can put the scripture up there where it says, in your weakness, I believe it's in James, where it talks about in your weakness, he is made strong. Meaning, and I'm paraphrasing, why? To tell you that God knew that there were going to be weak moments that we were going to have. And then he turns around and says that I'm your strength when you are weak. And so I put something in my notes in this is never be afraid to present your weakness to a strong God. Never be afraid to present your weakness to a strong God. He is not intimidated by your weakness, baby. He's not intimidated because you have weak moments. He's not intimidated when you're not 24/7 for all my strong people, strong leaders. God is not intimidated when you have weak moments. He's not intimidated when you're not 365 days on and you happen to have one day where you're off and you're like, God, I just need you right now. I can't do it. I'm tired and I need you to help me be strong. God is not intimidated by your weakness. Never be afraid to present your weakness to a strong God. Never be afraid to present your weakness to a strong God. He is not intimidated by what you're going through. He's not intimidated by what you're dealing with. And he's perfectly fine if you have those moments like David in Psalm 69, where you're like, God, save me. Maybe that's all you got. I'm not going to tell you to pray a deep prayer. If all you got is God save me, if all you got is God heal me, if all you got is I'm tired and I need your help, maybe that's all you got. And I'm telling you that God is not intimidated because you're coming before him and you're saying, God, I'm in something so deep that I need your help. He's not intimidated by that. He's not like, oh, here goes my child who's weak. Get away from me. He's not like that. He's a good father. When you're weak, he's strong. Even when you're strong, he's stronger. He's that type of God. One of the names of God that I love is he's Jehovah Teshur, the God of my strength. Because there are many days when I don't feel strong. There are many days I'm a leader in many aspects. There are many days when I don't feel like a leader. There are many days when I'm like, God, how have you called me to do all this? I can't do this without you. I'm like Moses, if you don't go with me, I don't want to go. If your presence is not with me, I don't want to do nothing unless you're there. There are many days when I don't see myself as supernaturally strong. And I have to go before him and say, God, I need your strength. I need you to help me lead these people on my job. I need you to help me lead this ministry. I need you to help me. I can't do it in my own strength. I need your supernatural strength to kick in. And maybe that's not your testimony. Maybe 365 days, you're just super strong and you feel super great all the time. And you're just like the Hulk and Superman. I'm not like that. Some days I'm Clark Kent. Some days I'm not Superman. Some days I'm Clark Kent and I'm in that booth and I got them nerdy glasses on like now. And I'm like, God, I need you. I can't do it. I can't make it. I need your strength. I need you to help me. I'm going to do whatever you call me to do as long as you are with me. If you are with me, I can do it. I feel strong as long as you're with me. But don't take your presence from me. I'm like that. Why? Because there are days that I don't feel supernatural. There are days there ain't no S on my chest. There are days when I feel like there's a W. There's just a weakness there that I need you. There are days that I cry in my room because the pain in my body is so bad. I'm like, God, I need your healing power. I need healing to manifest. There are days that I'm weeping because I don't sleep at night because the pain is so bad. I don't have that testimony. Some days it's hard. Some days I'm crying and I'm like, I need your strength. Some days I'm like, David, help me, oh God, I can't do it without you. I don't have that testimony. I have the testimony that when I'm weak, he's strong. I have the testimony that when I cried to him, he answered. I have the testimony that he didn't always lift it. He didn't always take it away, but he stepped in the midst of it with me to let me know that he is with me, to let me know that he didn't leave me nor forsake me. And I have that testimony that I can tell you this morning that when you're going through, you can run to him. When you're in a crisis and it's hard and it's frustrating and you've been in it for a minute, you can continue to run to him. And when you're weak, he is strong. I can give you that testimony because I'm fighting that fight myself. I know what it's like when you got to stand up and lead and yet you're in pain. I have preached many sermons in pain. So I know what it's like, that it's not hunky-dory, like you're dealing with something and yet he's in the midst of it with you. It's not that it's just completely gone, but that you know one day it will be, but yet right now he's in the midst of it with you. And so David is in a crisis and he starts Psalm 69 off verse 1 through 4. And to me, it really summarizes the rest of these verses is that God is with him. And he cries out to him as a start to the rest of what he's in. That is your starting place. So when Escape sung that song, they didn't have the answer. Who can I run to? Who can I run to? And it was a cute song, and I was singing it, and every other person was singing it. Who can I run to when I need love? When I need somebody to fill this empty space. And when they were singing that song, they was really talking about a man come in and fill this empty space. A man come in and provide comfort. But what I'm telling you this morning, if we were to look at the psalmist David said, who can I run to? He starts it off in Psalm 69, telling us that we can run to the Father. And that's what I want to encourage you this morning, that no matter what you're going through, no matter what you're dealing with, you can run to the Father. I'm going to summarize the rest of this because Psalm 69 is so long, it would take me forever to really get through it. But I read 1 through 4. And verses 6 and 7, and I'm going to read this real quick because I want to share something. He said, may those who wait for you not be ashamed because of me, O Lord of hosts. May those who seek you not see dishonor through me. Because of your sake, I have borne reproach. Dishonor has covered my face. That's 6 and 7. One of the things I want to point out in this is though David is in a crisis, he is praying that what he is in does not affect others. I thought that was so amazing that though David is in something that he said is covering his head, he's in something that's so deep. He then prays a prayer that God, may what I'm in not affect others. May those who are still believing you for something specific, may they not get discouraged by looking at me. May they not find dishonor by seeing me and what I'm in. I love that because what we're dealing with, may it not cause discouragement for everyone else. And I don't know too many people that are praying that prayer. When we're in something, we tend to get very selfish. We tend to get very selfish. When we're in a crisis, we want God to fix it for us. Fix me. heal me, strengthen me, deliver me, give me money. When we're in something, we want God, we selfishly want God to do something for us. David prays a prayer in Psalm 69. He says, what I'm in, God, don't let it affect somebody else. I put that in my notes, that may we have the heart of this psalmist. May what we're in not affect others. If we happen to stumble in some foolishness and we're dealing with our foolishness, may what we're in not affect others. May we not just be concerned with ourselves, but may we also be concerned with those that are closest to us, or those that are watching us, that may what we be in not bring disgrace to others. May they see us, those that are on the outside, and see our faith in our God. May they see us and see our moments of weakness, but yet see us crying to a God that is strong. And may it build faith in them who have no faith, because they see that though we are weak, we are calling out to our God who is strong. May it build faith in those who did not have faith. What am I saying? You may be in something very hard. I'm not discounting it at all, because I myself am walking out something that's hard. But what I'm saying is, may those on the outside see our faith and be encouraged. May what we're in not affect others to a point that now they don't believe God. Now they like, well, if you in this, okay, you look like you struggling. May what they see us in, they see us consistently running to God. David said, what I'm in, God, don't let it affect others. That's just paraphrasing 6 and 7. What I'm in, don't let it affect others. What am I saying to you this morning? You may be in something hard, but may others find strength while you're running to him for strength. Verses 8 through 12, David talks about that he's in something, and he talks about his reproaches. And then he says in verse 10, he says, when I wept in my soul with fasting, it became a reproach. When I made sackcloth with clothing, I became a byword to them. Those who sit at the gate talk about me, and I am a song of the drunkards. David now has moved into talking about his enemies. He's talking about that though I'm fasting and believing you, God, and I know what this is like. That's why I can laugh. Though I'm fasting and believing you, God, though I put some sackcloth and ashes on, God, though I'm praying, though I have zeal for your house, there are people who are talking about me. There are people like, why are you still believing God? There are people like Job's wife. Why don't you curse him and die? I know what that's like when you, and I use my own testimony. I've been believing God for healing for almost 9 years. Complete healing, 9 years. And there are people that I tell, and I'm like, man, I know that healing is going to manifest, and God he's already, the healing is about, I know it's coming. And I can see signs of healing already taking place in my body. And I've had people tell me, yeah, I don't think you're going to be healed. I think it's God's will for you to be sick. I think God brought that upon you because you did something. And I've had to tell them like, hey, take all that and take that away from me. No, I'm going to believe God. And I'm going to be like the 3 Hebrew boys, that even if I got to get in the fire, I'm going to still believe my God. I'm going to believe him. And I'm already thanking him for the manifestation of the healing. Why? Because I believe his word. And if you don't believe his word, then you got to take all that negativity over there to the right side, because where I'm standing is a place of faith, and I'm believing him. Wow, I know what David is talking about. When people mock you because you're praying and you're believing God for something, when you're fasting and you're believing God, and they're like, it don't take all that, stop doing that. This is just his will. Just accept his will. Just accept his sovereign will. Some people sick, some people not sick. You just happen to be the one that was picked to be sick. And that is foolishness. And I'm not taking that when his word says, by stripes I'm healed. I'm already healed. I'm just waiting for the manifestation, and I already see where healing is starting to take place in my body. I'm not accepting that. And maybe you're in something where you're believing God for an impossible situation, and people are like, just stop believing, just accept your fate. You're just going to die. You're just always going to be in debt. Your whole family in debt. You just going to be in debt. And what am I telling you this morning is stand by faith. Fight the good fight of faith. Continue to fight and continue to believe God. Continue to speak the word. Continue to stand on the word. And there are days where it's going to be hard. There are days days when I'm standing up reading this word to myself that it is hard. I'm not finna front and fake this morning. There are days I have to stand in the mirror with my body aching and say, by his stripes, I am healed. And I look at that body and it's still aching in pain, but I still believe God for complete healing. I'm giving you that testimony, not that you are sick, but those same principles apply in everything. Those same principles apply in everything. You could be going where you're getting evicted out of your house, you're getting your car repoed, and you're believing God. Like, God, I've been paying my tithes and offering. God, I've been faithful, a good steward over my finances, and yet this still happened. And I'm telling you, you got to fight the good fight of faith. I don't care who don't believe. You got to fight the good fight of faith. Why are we called believers if we don't believe? Why are we called Christians, Christ-like, if we're not going to be like Christ? There's nowhere in the Bible where you saw Jesus throw in the towel and say, forget it. I ain't going to this cross. These ratchet people going to have to deal with their own stuff. You don't see him throw in the towel and quit. You see him in the Garden of Gethsemane, even when he's crying to the point that blood is coming. He says, nevertheless, not my will, but thy will be done, Father. He doesn't throw in the towel on us. He doesn't throw in the towel on himself. He goes all the way to that to that cross. And if I'm going to be like the Father, then I've got to have faith. Jesus says, I only do what the Father does. When you see me, you see the Father. So if we are to be Christians with Christ at the front, then we are to be like Christ. And I'm not finna throw in the towel, and I'm not finna quit. I don't care how hard the crisis is. I don't care how tough it is. I'm not finna throw in the towel, and I'm encouraging you this morning is I don't care how tough it is. I don't care how long you be believing God. Continue to believe God. And if you are in his will and you are in alignment with him, your job is to continue to fight the good fight of faith. Don't throw in the towel. Don't listen to the people who are telling you it don't take all that. Don't listen to the people that tell you it's impossible. Your marriage is beyond repair. Nothing can happen. I'm telling you, and that's why I say I love the word. I love his word. He says what is impossible with man is made possible with God. You can't tell me that my situation is so impossible that God just can't step his strong arm in and move. No, maybe you don't believe like I believe. And it's not that I'm always on point with my belief. There are days when I'm like, help my unbelief. There are some moments when I feel the doubt rising and I'm like, God, help me with the moments that I feel weak. But I'm telling you, I'd rather be found believing than non-believing. I'd rather be found. There was a scripture I was reading about a week ago, New Testament. I don't remember exact, but it talks about when the Father comes back, will he find those that believe? And man, that thing pierced my heart because I was like, what? Do you mean that there's so much unbelief? That you're like, when you come back, will you find people that still believe? I'm like, God, may I'm not praying for the whole world. May I be found believing when you come back. I want everybody to believe, but at the end of the day, may I be found believing when you come back. So I'm telling you this morning is that if you're trying to figure out who can you run to, when you're in a crisis, you can run to the Father. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to believe you. If you don't believe me, read John 15, verses 18 through 21. Jesus is talking to his disciples and he's telling them they hated me, so they gonna hate you. He's telling them, look, you just might as well get ready. They persecuted me. They gonna persecute you. Not everybody. You gotta expect haters. Not everybody's gonna like you, especially when you believe in God, especially when you're standing by faith and it look crazy, but you're like, God gonna fix it. You're like, God already fixed it. You're like, I see what he doing. And they like, I don't see nothing. You still broke. You still busted, disgusted. You still ain't been healed. You've been saying that for 5 years. When is your healing come? When is your finances going to change? I mean, you've been saying this and you like, he's doing it. I know he's doing it. I already see it. I'm lining myself up, and he's manifesting his will. And they like, okay, you got those folks when you're trying to tell them, like, I know God is about to do it. I know he done gave me a dream. I know. And they like, okay, here you go with that dream again, Joseph. Here you go. You like, no, hey, take all that. I'm believing the Father. And so I'm telling you that just like what David says, look, they talking about me. They talking about me, God. But at the end of the day, I'm believing you. I'm going to still believe you. And so he goes on, and I'm not going to read this. I'm going to summarize, and I'm going to be out of here. In verses 13 all the way down to verses 18, David says a prayer really for himself. And he basically is asking God to deliver him. He's asking God to draw him closer. He's asking, and you'll see this in verse 15. He's like, though I'm in the flood, God, don't let the flood overtake me. He goes, though I'm in something deep, don't let me be swallowed up by it. And I know what that's like. I know what it's like. Like, look, if you're not going to get me up out of it, just be with me while I'm in it. If you're not going to change it right now, then just be with me while I got to walk it out. That's what David is saying. Then he goes on in verse 18. He says, draw me near in my soul, redeem it, ransom me, because I still have enemies. And so David in verses 13 through 18, he's asking God to draw him near. He's asking God that this is where I'm at. This is what I got to walk through, but don't let it overtake me. In verses 19 through 28, David is now making a request specifically he's making a request about his enemies. And you'll see that in 18 through 28. David, and I want y'all to read that when you have time. I'm going to give you an example. He says, and make their loins shake continually. May you pour out indignation on them. May burning anger overtake them. May their camp be desolate, for they have persecuted him who you have smitten. May you bring pain upon them. David in verses 19 through 28, he is specifically praying a prayer for his enemies. And you may read that and be like, Angela, how does that apply to me? We are able to pray for our enemies. Now we're not praying for God to smite our enemies. We're not praying for God to terrorize our enemies. But we're praying for our enemies. We are able to pray for our enemies. David in verses 19 through 28, he's making his request known to the Lord regarding those that have come against me. And I put this in my notes. I said, when you know you are in God's will and people are intentionally coming against you, you can lay those individuals at the feet of the Father. Don't ignore people coming against you. Don't ignore your feelings, but lay it at the Father's feet. The Bible says vengeance is the Lord's. It's not yours. Don't you go against them enemies. Don't you go trying to attack them, but you can confidently lay them at the feet of the Father. You can confidently tell God how you feel. You can confidently be like, God, hey, so-and-so coming against me, and I'm doing what you called me to do. Boom, I'm laying them at your feet, God. You can do that. You can pray for your enemies. I'm not telling you to go crazy on your enemies. Last verses 29 through 36, the psalmist ends on praise. David ends on praise. So if I go back through Psalm 69, David goes to God. He says, God, save me. From there, he lists what he's in. Then he goes into a prayer where he's telling God, look, don't let those that are around me be affected by what I'm in. Then David goes into, when we get into like verses 13 through 18, David is running back to God and giving God specifically things he needs help with. When we get in verses 19 through 28, he's praying for his enemies. When we get into the latter part of Psalm 69, verses 29 through 36, David ends on a praise. And I'm going to end reading this. David says, I will praise the name of God with a song. I will magnify him with thanksgiving. It will please the Lord better than an ox. The humble have seen it and are glad. I seek God. Let my heart be revived. For the Lord hears the needy and does not despise his who are prisoners. Let the heaven and earth praise him, the seas and everything that moves in them. For God will save Zion, his church. Build the cities of Judah, that they may dwell there and possess it. The descendants of his servants will inherit it. Those who love his name will dwell in it. David ends Psalm 69, not that God has removed the crisis, but he ends Psalm 69 praising God. So I'm going to start where I started at the beginning. Escape had a song in the 90s, I believe, may have been 2000s, but it said, who can I run to when I need love? Who can I run to fill this empty space? The psalmist David in Psalm 69 starts it off by saying, save me, oh God. He tells us that, look, I'm in something so serious that I need God to save me. He then goes through all the stuff he's dealing with, how he feels, all of that. But he starts off Psalm 69 telling you, who can you run to? And so I'm telling you, I got the answer to Escape's question, and it's not a man. When you're going through something so bad, you run to God. You need him to save you. People don't have the answers. People can bring comfort. They can try to hug you. They can try to love you. They can try to give you money. They can try to do what they can do in their humanness, but they don't have the power to flip your situation. When you're in something, I feel like sickness is one of the key things that shows human weakness. Most of the time, when you get something long-term, something terminal, doctors don't have answers. They have medicine and they have things that can try to prolong it. But most of the time, they don't have cures. They don't have cures. They're like, this is what we can give you to give you 6 months. This is what we can give you to give you a year. Sickness is one of the things that I feel like is one of those things that God has to intervene. Most of the time, they don't have cures. If you got a common cold, that's different. But I'm talking about something where it's like, they like, look, that's something big. I'm sorry, I went to medical school, but I don't have the answer for you. When you're in a crisis that bad, God is the one you can run to. He's the one that can change it. He's the one that can flex his muscle. He's the one that can snap his finger, and you run to God until God gets in the midst of your situation. I said this in the middle of my video, and I'll say it again. Don't be afraid to present your weakness to a strong God. Don't be afraid to go before him when you're weak, because he's strong. When you're weak, he's made strong. He's strong in your weakness. Don't be afraid to present your crisis to God. He's not intimidated by your crisis. And so maybe you are where Escape is. Maybe you're looking for somebody to provide comfort, and maybe you ain't got nobody. Run to God. I know we don't like hearing that, but I'm telling you, run to him. When you're looking for somebody to run to the arms of the Father. Because when that temporary sex and all that's over, you still gonna feel empty. And the only person that can fill that void, see, Escape was saying, who can fill this empty space? Empty space. Who can fill, not space, just bed space. Who can fill this empty space? And I'm telling you, the only one that can do it is God. Let him fill that empty space in your heart. Let him feel when you're dealing with something in your body where the doctors are like, look, I'm sorry, I tried. God can step in. God can do it. He's that type of God. Man, if you just read any of this New Testament, he was casting out sickness. Casting out demons, healing sick. If you really read this New Testament, he was healing people that couldn't walk. That's the type of God we serve. And if you are calling yourself a believer, then you got to believe. If you're calling yourself a believer, then you got to fight the good fight of faith. And I'm not telling you every day it's going to be easy. I'm not telling you it's every day going to be ice cream and cookies and peaches. Some days it's going to be tough, but you got to fight the good fight of faith. You got to fight the good fight of faith. You got to. It's what separates us from unbelievers. Let's pray. Father, thank you this morning for your amazing word. Thank you for the psalmist David and him giving us the answer to who can we run to. Father, when we need love, Who can we run to fill the empty space? Who can we run to when we need comfort? Who can we run to when we need strength? Who can we run to when we need encouragement? Who can we run to when we need the lifting of our head? We can run to you, Father. And I thank you today. I thank you that we can find comfort in you, strength in you, encouragement in you, healing in you, deliverance in you, providing in you. Father, you're all those things and so much more. So, Father, I thank you this morning. I don't know what everyone's dealing with, but I know the answer is you. Maybe the doctors have done all they can do in their lives. God, I know that you never give up on them. I know that you're right there and you got an answer even when the doctors ain't got an answer. God, I thank you this morning. I pray for the faith of your people. Father, may they get in your word and may their faith be restored. I pray for those that may have gotten into unbelief this morning, like I myself have gotten in, God, at times, where it's like you've been believing so long and you haven't seen the manifestation. God, I pray that this morning that unbelief will be replaced with faith. I pray this morning that where they're having doubts, because maybe they've been believing you for 10, 15 years to get married, to have children, to get a house, to be healed. God, I know that you are faithful. May this morning you restore their faith. May this morning they be restored in strength. No matter, maybe their marriage has been going through and they've been believing you for healing in their marriage. Father, I pray this morning that they won't give up, but they'll continue to pray. They'll continue to give it back to you. Maybe they're dealing with all kinds of enemies that are coming against them. Father, I pray this morning that they will lay their enemies at your feet and know that you got them. Father, I pray for a hedge of protection around your people. May you shield them from the fiery darts of the enemy. And may you be their strength this morning as they go throughout this day. May they find hope and encouragement in you and your word. And Father, I give you all glory. Oh, sorry. I pray for my brother Marcus, and I pray for my brother Brenton, and I pray for my brother Aaron in his Hymn 2 group. God, may you be with them. May you strengthen them. May you encourage them. May you continue to speak your word, your revelations to them that you want them to say. I pray for healing in their bodies. I pray for peace in their minds. I pray for strength that you will be with them throughout this week, and their wives and their families. And I give you glory and praise in Jesus' name. You guys have an amazing day. Don't forget, Marcus will be on in the morning at 7:15. My brother Brenton or B will be on Thursday around 8. Mondays, Aaron is on around 6. And I'm on every Tuesday at 7 a.m. You guys have an amazing day. Peace.